Border Patrol agents have arrested at least 130 criminal illegal aliens in Charlotte, North Carolina, with more than 80 suspects they say had significant criminal and immigration history. The Department of Homeland Security did launch Operation Charlotte's Web over the weekend, the first city where Customs and Border Patrol conducted enforcement without ICE agents. And House Judiciary member and North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris represents that area, including Charlotte, and joins us now to discuss. Good morning to you, sir. Great to see you.
Good morning, Jan. Great to be with you this morning.
What are you seeing as a result of this DHS crackdown, and why was this so warranted?
Well, one of the results that we're seeing, and I'm hearing this morning that number is probably closer to a little over 200 folks that have been arrested at this point. And to the point that was made earlier, many of them have gotten these criminal backgrounds that are being recognized. And so I'm very thankful. I hope one of the results is going to be that the city of Charlotte is going to be safer because these criminal illegal aliens are being taken off the streets. And so it is warranted because, again, we've got a serious issue going on in Charlotte. Not only have we seen crime issues that have taken place, but I think that I saw a report I guess it was yesterday morning, that Charlotte is one of the top cities in the nation in human trafficking. Yes. And I think that's a great concern. And so, you know, when Border Patrol decides where they're going in, they have their own intelligence that they have been able to muster. They have their own information, and they choose these areas because there are suspects that they are looking for, and they have information that would lead them there. So I'm confident that they're there, they're getting the job done, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that is true. I saw that same report. And right now, DHS is sending some of the Border Patrol agents to Raleigh, North Carolina. I want to ask you about a tweet that you reposted recently from the House Freedom Caucus, where they wrote Biden's COVID bonuses were a massive wealth transfer from taxpayers to insurance companies. Obamacare was never about lowering costs for hardworking Americans. It was about enriching insurance companies while funding abortion, child sex changes, and fraud. Talk to us more about this and why you think your Democratic colleagues in the House expect Americans to believe the opposite.
Well, I think the bottom line is everybody understands that the COVID era subsidies that the Democrats themselves set to expire at the end of December were indeed something that was never meant to go on longer. And there are problems with it. And again, as we have recognized that anytime that you start feeding money into insurance companies, you're going to see those rates continue to go up. There's nothing more dependable than a government check, it seems. And so the insurance companies begin to live off of that, and they continue to raise their rates. Listen, the Affordable Care Act has been anything but affordable. And I think everybody's recognized that. And without the subsidies, Republicans reported over and over again that Obamacare would collapse on itself. And that's exactly what we're seeing. It is a concern right now that we're seeing that happen, and we're being asked to continue to fund it. And so I believe that we're wanting to put health care in the hands of citizens. And I think that's the reason for the president's proposal that we start getting the money directly to the individuals rather than the insurance companies. And I think that that's the step we're going to be moving when we start revamping this.
And finally, Congressman, President Trump has now urged Republicans to approve the resolution to release some of these Epstein files right now from the DOJ. He says he has absolutely nothing to hide, and he says the Democrats have been pushing for this, you know, obviously since he returned to the White House. What's your stance on this? How are you going to vote?
Well, I'm going to vote for it today, and I think that it will pass overwhelmingly. I think the president has made it clear that this has been a distraction over and over again to the agenda. And listen, there is nothing to hide there. I'm more interested in, with that 20,000 pages just released last week, I think more than 50,000 pages have been released so far. I'm more interested in where are the prosecutions? When are we going to start prosecuting the people that we are supposedly going to find in all this information that were a part of this effort? So I'm interested in seeing more results than that. But again, the president recognizes, we will recognize in the House today, that we have an agenda of the America First that we need to move forward. We need to deal with affordability on issues. We've got a January 30th date facing us in this continuing resolution that we've got to get the government funded. So we've got to get back to business. We've got to just go ahead and deal with this in the House today, and we will send it over to the Senate and let them deal with it there. But we've got the American people's issues that we've got to get dealing with quickly.
Yeah, and that's very true. And you brought up a good point when you talk about convictions, because some would say that there were 2 convictions, obviously, with Epstein and his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. Why do you think we're not seeing more criminal charges if, in fact, there was a statutory rape case, let's say? Why are we not hearing more about this? Why are we not seeing more names and more criminal charges being filed if this was the case?
Well, that's a great question. In fact, the question that I've continued to point out is just what you're asking. Why are we not seeing more prosecutions that are taking place? That was one of my concerns with the way this discharge petition was being handled, was my fear that if we were to move in this direction, were we going to jeopardize the investigations and jeopardize the prosecutions by just putting this information out there for a media feeding frenzy? And so I still have that concern that we're moving down a path of setting judicial precedent and letting politics get involved in what need to be judiciary and court decisions. And that's a concern. But I do think it's important for us to get this done today so we can get back to the agenda that the American people are looking for us to do.
All right. House Judiciary member and North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris. Great to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.